Jeremy, this is Asia, this is Music Matters, and welcome, dude.
Thank you so much.
You, let me just get comfortable here, because you have traveled a long way to be here in Singapore with us this afternoon. Where have you come from?
I came from Los Angeles.
How long is that journey?
21 hours.
21 hours. And what time is it in LA right now? How many other people flew in from the States? Just, what time is it in the States right now? So it's yesterday in LA right now.
It's yesterday and everyone's having dinner.
So it's dinner time.
It's dinner time.
Where's the food at? Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time out. And that's an epic journey that you've taken. So as you can see, folks, CCO of Herdwell, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But the whole theme, I suppose, of this conversation that we're having, and that's exactly what this is going to be. It's just going to be a chilled out conversation between two cool dudes.
There you go.
At least one cool dude. There's no denying, right, the awesome power that social media has on us as a society, but particularly in music. I'm going to spout a few names. Just raise your hands if you've heard of Troye Sivan. Holy sugar cubes. That's awesome. Okay, so you've heard of Troye Sivan, Kurt Hugo Schneider, Connor Franta, and because I was just going to go, all right, Justin Bieber. That's where he got his start from, social media. So it's a huge thing, and Herdwell are tapping into that power, or have tapped into that power. So I guess the first question is, who are Herdwell? Where did it all begin, and why are you doing it?
Well, Herdwell started 2 years ago, and the idea of Herdwell was using the power of social influencers on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, ordinary people that have super big followings, and using their platform for undiscovered artists to be discovered by, the power of the tweet, the power of the YouTube video, the power of being able to have the authenticity of a regular person share what they like, and in response, people will hopefully like it.
Right.
So we started with Connor Franta. Connor Franta is also a business partner of mine at Herdwell, and we put out a compilation of his, which reached 5-8 million people. At the time, who, his following was. I think it's larger now. And we put out the compilation and went #1 on iTunes. Then it went, into the top 10 on the Billboard charts in the electronic genre. And what we noticed was something really interesting. What was really interesting is you could take music that's already been put out. These are not unsigned artists. I'm sorry, these are unsigned artists, but it's not necessarily unreleased music. And you can attach it to someone that has a lot of followers, and then people go and buy it, and they listen to it. And we did another one, and we did another one, and we said, I think we have a business here. I think we are able to do this with many other creators. So we reached out to Connor's friends, Tyler Oakley, J.C. Kalen. We did one with The Syndicate, who is one of the top creators on Twitch, as I was talking to Kevin yesterday. And the list goes on and on. So now we have 17 creators we've worked with. We've put out 23 albums in the last 2 years. 20 of them have gone #1 on the charts and the Billboard charts. And a lot of artists have been discovered through our compilations that have gone off to, sign with, big record companies.
That's incredible because, essentially what you're saying is getting, for lack of a better description, some of the most popular, most watched, most viewed, subscribed to individuals on platforms like YouTube, getting them to say, you know what, listen to this music. This is the kind of music that people should be listening to.
Right.
So I'm old school, and we were chatting earlier before we got here. I remember the days, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room will remember the days where we'd get the band together, we would just get like a little crummy mic in the middle of the room, and record a demo. and then send said demo on a little cassette tape. Remember those things? In an envelope, send it off to as many people as we could, and hope and pray that we heard back from somebody somewhere. Some A&R exec was going to go, hey man, these guys are really good. So would it be fair to say that these social influencers now are taking on the role of the modern day A&R?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the majority of our creators curate their own playlists. Many instances, or some instances, we help, you know, co-create the playlists. But, you know, they're kind of the guinea pigs going out there on, you know, SoundCloud and finding music that they like. And, you know, when we approach a creator, we look at it like this. This is the now music for the YouTube generation, but please don't come to me with the Taylor Swifts and the One Republics and these large artists. Come to me with the new Taylor Swift. Come to me with the new One, you know, Republic. Sometimes they're able to do that, sometimes they're not. If they're not, then, you know, we go out and help them, you know, curate a playlist that, you know, highlights emerging artists. In a lot of cases, these creators like full, you know, control of what they're doing. So they come with, you know, 20 or 30 artists, and then we go out and license the music, and the 12 that we're able to license is what makes it on the compilation. And then, you know, from there, goes on to iTunes, and it finally makes its way to Spotify, you know, at the very end. But in a short answer to your question, absolutely. It's a supercharged, you know, A&R process by, you know, young creators that have a massive fan base that's super hyper engaged, and it's very authentic, and that's how we're finding new music today.
So what are some of the criteria then? Because obviously there's going to be a lot, you know, there's genre specific, there's demographic, age specific, there's people, as you've just mentioned, with an already existing fan base, you know, and people who have a big following already. What are some of the criteria that you guys go through when choosing and picking songs for the playlist or artists for the playlists?
Every creator has its own fan base, right? And every creator knows who their fans are. So, you know, some compilations are electronic, some compilations are, you know, alternative rock, some are indie rock. It really just depends on the creator, right? But in the last 2 years, you know, we went from having to necessarily sell this business to labels and to artists, and now the amount of music that's coming into us on a daily basis is like too much to listen to. I mean, there's just so much music. So you know, a few artists that we found early on are artists like Lainey. We found Odessa. We found Iconopop, Betty Who, and you know, we're not going to say we are the reason that, you know, they've blown up and been, but, you know, we've been part of their success story. And in April of this year, we partnered with a company called TuneIn, which is one of the largest online radio stations. So we launched a 24-hour station called Herdwell Radio, where now what we're able to do is not just promote these artists on our compilations, but give them a platform to come in and actually do live performances, talk about music. And then last month, really exciting, we signed an exclusive deal with Sony ATV Music Publishing, which now gives us the ability to take an artist from a compilation and then go back to them and say, hey, we believe in you. We want to sign you. We want to put out your master. We want to, you know, do sync on your license. We want to do syncs on your publishing, and try to amplify you to the next level. Because what we saw was so many artists from our compilations going and doing these label deals outside of the Herdwell ecosystem, and we said, we want a shot at this. You know, we're promoting you on the compilations. We're selling tens of thousands of these albums, which is crazy, by the way. It's crazy that we've been able to continue to sell music at the volume that we're selling music. And that is because of this super hyper-engaged fan base. And these fans giving us the opportunity at a chance of new music. I'll tell you a really funny story. We worked with an artist named... a creator named Tanner Brunkart. Tanner Brunkart's 16 years old. He jumps on a trampoline. He's a YouTuber. He jumps on a trampoline. Okay, and the crazy thing about jumping on the trampoline is he gets every time he posts a video, he gets 1 million views on his video within about 45 minutes. It's crazy. Anyway, we put out his compilation, and it was an 8-minute commercial of him just kind of like a vlog of what he was doing. And he was playing the compilation throughout the day. Anyway, you know, that weekend we sold 8,000 or 10,000 albums, and they're all bundled only albums, right? So it's a full album. You have to buy the full, you're getting the full artistic vision of this creator. It's not just one song. But anyway, prior to putting out the compilation, we ran a contest online. And the contest is go to herdwell.com/Tanner Brunkart, and you have a chance to design the album cover. So in order to design the album cover, you had to buy the album. But the album didn't come out yet, and we didn't license any songs yet. So
we were just buying it blindly.
You were buying basically a JPEG with a question mark. So the next day I looked, I said, God, we sold like 5,000. We sold 5,000 things of just, it was just an idea. I mean, people don't even know what the music is. What I'm getting at is again, it's going back to the super engaged fan base. So, you know, these fans are relying on these creators or what they consider their friends in the YouTube community to suggest great things that they're going to like. And that's kind of the brain trust that we've built in this community is fans believing in these creators to suggest to them great music, great products, and great ideas.
It's interesting that you use the word friend there, because I guess that's one of the ways, if not the main way, that a lot of these fans are putting their trust, blind trust for that story right there, into this project and into these compilations, is because they feel as though, yeah, I'm connected to this guy. I'm not reliant on some dude that I've never met before who works at some record label. It's someone that they feel that they are connected with, right?
That is exactly right. And it's the ability to sell product. I mean, we have a very healthy compilation business. I mean, physical compilation business. I mean, we sell vinyl, we sell CDs. You know, we sell posters, pins. I mean, I don't even know if the kids are playing the CDs. I mean, I get emails sometimes going like, what is this cylinder thing that's, you know, came in the envelope, you know, but, you know, they take photos with it and it makes it, you know, to Instagram and into our newsletters. But, it's just, it's giving a young audience a opportunity to connect with, something, and everyone wants to know what people are listening to. And a lot of these creators are, you know, they put out playlists on Spotify. So you might ask, well, why do people go to Herdwell when you can just go to Spotify? Well, the reason is these artists are making money too, right? We're selling these compilations, and the compilations are, you know, $10 to $12, and the artists are getting royalties off of the compilations. If you take an unheard band that no one's heard of, and you put, you know, Connor behind it, and he's promoting it on, and I'm going to use a different example. We did a compilation a month ago with this YouTube brother and sister named Ronz and Niana. You might have seen them. They did a Despacito cover on YouTube, and it went viral. And they have, you know, 5 or 6 million followers on Facebook. So we put out their compilation, and it went #1 in Indonesia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, within like 45 minutes. It was a great album. And now I lost my train of thought. What?
You were going to tell us a story about how they put together a compilation.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So you look at the promotion that went into that album, right? They put out a YouTube video. It was a 20-second video of them saying, "Hey guys, buy my album," and some music was playing. It highlighted the artists, and I think 20 million people saw that video. And then you look at the sales of this compilation, and it was astronomical. If they would have done a Spotify playlist, those artists on the compilation would not have been compensated the same way. So in return, the creators are making a little bit of money, the artists are making money, and they're being discovered at a much larger scale. If I'm a small band and I was on a Ron Zignana compilation and that commercial was seen by 15 or 20 million people, that's way more visibility that would have been seen if they had just done a Spotify playlist.
And presumably, once you make, once any artist or band makes a playlist, then that in turn, leads the way to people checking out their, YouTube accounts or their online social.
Exactly. I mean, we get emails all day long from artists just thanking us for being on the compilations because of the amount of domino effect that happens once a creator puts out the album, and then the followings that are elevated, by by being on that compilation.
So talk me through it, because I've noticed earlier on we have. I suspect how many artists or budding musicians do we have in the audience right now? I know that we had a few come in. So talk to me. Here I am. I've got my band, and I'm trying to get away with the old school cassette demo thing. How do I get my music noticed by Herdwell, on Herdwell?
Email us, or but
I mean, I know it's all down to the musical preferences of your influencers and things like that. But if I really want to get my music heard by you guys, what do I do?
If you want to get your music heard by us, I would say send us an email. Send us an email again. Keep sending us emails. We're always looking for undiscovered new music. There really is not a criteria for Herdwell. Well, that's not true. The criteria is the less people that know about you, the better, right? We like finding bands on SoundCloud that have 100 listens on them, because those are the gems, and those are the artists that we want to be a part of, and that's it. Just being persistent. And then if you get onto one of our compilations, making yourself available to do videos for us that we could share on social media, giving us the opportunity to highlight certain tracks that give you a profile that's elevated outside of this bundled only compilation, come on the radio station. We've championed a lot of artists. I mean, Laney is one of them. They've been on 4 or 5 of our compilations across the board, and now they've gone on a world tour and signed a deal with Universal.
There are success stories coming out of all from some of these.
Oh, we have handfuls of success stories that have come out of Herdwell, where bands understand it and they get it. And they want to go along for the ride. And
you've come an awful long way, as we mentioned at the top of this chat. What about Asia? It is a huge. I mean, that's a generalization, of course, but the beauty of online, the beauty of this little thing called the internet and social media is that there are no boundaries. And so. Can you tell us, have there been any Asian artists to feature?
We have not yet featured any Asian artists. However, we want to feature Asian artists.
Because you've already got a massive footprint, as you were telling us earlier, about getting to #1 in the Philippines.
Which was incredible, right? So you're a small U.S. label that is working with Asian creators and featured predominantly U.S. artists, and then went #1 in Asia. So that is a remarkable story, and that really excited us to want to very much consider quickly how we can expand in this region and in this territory, and get behind other creators and artists.
I mean, I suppose one of the I'm just going to put this out there for any of you guys out there that have a decent following on YouTube or Twitter and whatnot, to get some Asian influencers, joining Herdwell and getting some of their playlists on there.
Absolutely, and with our new publishing deal, we're super excited to not only just include include artists on compilations, but actually, get behind them on a larger scale. And that's what was really excited for Sony ATV, which is one of the biggest, publishing companies in the world. They came to us and said, "We see what you're doing. You guys have this incubation, system where you're able to find these artists before anyone else is, and you're able to get behind them before anyone else is." And a really interesting story is, and this is kind of what sparked this ATV conversation, was a manager, some random manager had emailed us saying, I have this artist, I don't remember her name, but I have this artist. And I sent it to Connor, and he really liked it. And he tweeted, he said, "Oh my God, can't stop listening to, at this artist." Within 30 minutes, that artist had 2.5 million plays on Spotify. So, and this could have been just the Jeremy Weinberg, banjo project. I mean, it was an absolutely unknown artist that no one had ever heard of. But the power of the tweet is incredible. And if we can get behind artists, and then we can tweet about them, and we can put them in YouTube videos, and we can put them on our compilations, and we could hypercharge a young artist's career. That's really what Herdwell 2.0 is all about.
2 years young.
Yeah, we started 2 years ago.
I know, 2 years young and evidently going very strong. So we are now currently sat in the third quarter of 2017. So 2018, 2019, 2020. What's in the pipeline for Herdwell?
Well, continuing to do our compilations, definitely. The building, a catalog for publishing, signing rights, singles, artists, to masters, and actually being taken seriously as a record company, and not just, a YouTube kind of creator company that puts out music, right? We brought on some very serious players in the music industry to help us, run this new side of the business. And then also getting into touring, which we're really excited about, and exploring touring in a new way that no one's ever done. Taking creators that have these huge followings, bringing them out on tour, so the fans are coming out to these venues to see their favorite creators, and then having live bands play at them. So really, it's about bringing 2 or 3 artists, 3 or 4 artists out on tour with a creator who's going to MC the night, and exposing, these young demographics to new music, and kind of creating an evening and an event around, live music. And that will be like a Herdwell Live type of experience.
Is that official? The Herdwell Live experience?
Yes, we're gonna be testing out our first one in Los Angeles in November with JC Kalen. He has an album coming out around Black Friday, and we're going to include a couple of the artists on his album into this live event. And if it works, we'll kind of roll it out into 5 markets, and then kind of take it.
I'm sure
at a larger scale.
That would be awesome. And I'm just thinking out loud here, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of the young artists in the room, where I say it would be pretty awesome to have someone like Connor just tweet about or do a video and just tell the world about this new band or this new artist, this new singer that he's just listened to. And I'm sure that there's going to be a couple artists or people out there who are going to want to talk to you throughout the course of Music Matters. I'm just looking at the clock right there. That time flies when you're having.
I know.
Right? We're just going to maybe open the floor to some questions right now, if anyone's got any, for Jeremy.
Oh.
They're an enthusiastic bunch.
I'll just talk to myself.
That's cool. We can just talk for a few minutes more if you want. But there's no denying. I mean, you talk about what you're going to be doing in the future, and wanting to, or having people take you seriously as a music label. There's no denying the power of social media anymore. This was something that just kind of blew up and became this phenomenon overnight, really. The smartphone came out, and I remember the first day my manager over at Channel V, when I was there, came down to me at my office and said, "Dude, have you got Twitter?" I'm like, "What the heck is that?" I'm still on my MySpace account right now. And he says, "This is going to be the biggest thing to hit the internet." I'm like, "Shut up, whatever." And it was.
It's interesting, right? We have major labels that are calling us all the time, going, "How can we promote our new artist?" Right? look at like Billie Eilish or some of these emerging artists, right? How can we promote them? They'll call us and they, okay, we'll give you $10,000-$20,000 to please, will you help us like get our artist out there? No one's listening to them. But Herdwell has that all built in. That's the secret sauce of Herdwell, is we are a full encompassed company where we are our own promotion. People spend so much money on trying to promote something unauthentically through brand deals, through sponsorships, through shoving things down people's throat, when we have the ability to do it so organically and so naturally and seamlessly between creator and fan. And that's something that I will go on record to say I don't know if many other companies have. We have a company that's built, and our backbone is, 15, 17, whatever the number is, and growing creators in a community that have 3 to 5+ million followers. So if all of our creators decided to come together and tweet at the exact same time, the exact same thing, we could reach 75 to 100 million people within 1 second. And that is something a lot of other people can't do. And that's, I think, what's going to make us... and that's kind of what makes us a player in this game that stands us apart from anyone else. Is if we could find our own artists, identify who they are, and use this backbone of promotion that we've built, we feel that we could really build an amazing platform and a game changer for emerging artists.
And it's, power to the people.
Power to the people. Power to the people, by the people, for the people.
For the people. Jeremy, thank you so very much,
thank
brother,
you
for
so
coming
much.
all this way to chat with us here at Music Matters. Ladies and gentlemen, from Herdwell, Jeremy Weinberg. Let's go get a beer.
Okay, let's go have a drink.
I'm still working. Oh, my God. All right, next up on the stage here at Music Matters, before lunch, which is coming up soon, is music to our ears, quite literally. We're going to be discussing high-resolution audio in the streaming age, ladies and gentlemen, and how are the rights owners and the streaming services, who we've heard of from today, providing the best possible audio quality in the age of streaming. So right now, I'd like to invite up onto the stage one of the very cool gentlemen from the Music Matters family, Mr. Ralph Simon. Thank you very much, guys.